So, Kuhan, good to meet you.
Good to meet you, Rory.
Uh, Tell us a bit about yourself. You've been diagnosed with Parkinson's for some time. Somebody in the mobile phone industry, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was diagnosed 2013. I was 38 at the time, so it makes me 47 now. And you know, like many, it was a shock to the system. But I continued working. I had a career in the mobile industry, working for the likes of Vodafone, Orange, EE, and various organisations around the UK and around the world. And I was very fortunate. It was quite a satisfying role. And I did that up until last year. Um, and so that was 25 years in the sort of product management role. I was taking technology and productizing it and throwing it out to the market. So I was versed in understanding market requirements and trying to find services that suited those requirements. And then I thought, let me try and do the same sort of thing in the Parkinson's space, something that's personal to me. And I saw a lot of challenges in the Parkinson's world in terms of things like measuring uh, disease progression, measuring symptoms, and so on. And I
Tell
thought,
me about it. I mean, I bet you're like me. Every time you see your consultant, on the rare occasions they say, "How's it been?" and you go, "Kind of, I don't know, really."
yeah, it's difficult because I don't always remember for a start. And I might say I'm all right there and then, but yesterday I might not have been all right, and it's difficult to sort of convey that. And my last session with my specialist was 7 minutes long, so I don't get very much time, and this is just twice a year, and the rest of the time I'm left to myself and my own devices. And um, I, I thought there's got to be a better way of doing this, and I thought, okay, I might not be able to control disease progression, but I can try and understand how sort of my day-to-day activities are influencing my day-to-day life. And I thought technology can do that. And in the first instance, what I started doing was just keeping a diary in a spreadsheet of different variables, like, when did I take my medication? Was it on time or not? How well did I sleep? How many hours did I sleep? How many steps I've done? Just basic things that just took me 5 minutes a day to record. And I put it into a spreadsheet, and I did that for a couple of months. And at the end, I was able to see what the trends were like. I was able to see what the impact was when I did exercise and how my sleep improved on the days that I did exercise, or when I didn't have enough sleep, what the impact was on my motor and non-motor symptoms, because Parkinson's impacts the mind as well as the body. And it was very insightful for me. And I thought,
And
let me try and put that into an app. Um,
right,
and that's what I'm doing right now.
just coming back to, I really get how easy some of the data is to collect. If you just, how many steps you've walked, how many hours you've slept, although that can sometimes be a bit subjective. But the how do you feel physically and mentally, that is pretty subjective, isn't it?
It is, but it's also subjective for the your specialist as well. In fact, he's got no way to tell what my mood is, other than what I tell him. And the fluctuating nature of the condition means that, in the example that you had, that you might be all right at the time, but your mood might be lower later in the day. And how do you capture that? And all I did was made a note every day throughout the day what my mood levels was like on a 1 to 5 rating.
Mm.
Um, and it is subjective, but it's my view, and it's over a period of time. So I was able then to use that data to correlate to other data sets and then build trends. For example, I was able to see how much my mood lifted the days that I did exercise or the days that I had a good night's sleep. Or conversely, if I had a stressful day or was feeling anxious, I could see the impact on my symptoms.
If you would draw out a few lessons from your data collection exercise so far, what would they be? What's good for you? What's bad for you?
So exercise and sleep are, the two of the most natural things to do, but they're two of the most challenging things to do for people with Parkinson's. But they really do, they replenish your dopamine levels. And it's, like I said, it's a challenge. What with fatigue and apathy, exercise is quite a challenge. sleep is impacted in so many different ways with Parkinson's. But if you can focus on those things and try and do more of it, they are natural treatments without any of the side effects of the medication. So that's one thing. The other thing is, I would say, is the importance of medication timing, because the thing that I realized from doing this exercise was how sensitive I was to medication timing. And this is spoken a lot of in the Parkinson's community, but when you're able to see it and quantify it, I was amazed as to how much impact taking my medication 15 minutes late would have on me on that day. So I think that probably the two main things that I would draw out, but even other things that are like other variables, like the weather plays an impact. Staying hydrated has an impact. You know, the recent heat wave, I've really suffered. Low blood pressure, also related somewhat to the weather as well. Social interaction puts me in a better mood. I found I would make a note when I was doing something social, and I noticed on those days my mood was a lot better. And if my mood's better, my movement is better, because the two are linked. So yeah, just there's obvious ones, but there's just little things as well that might take you by surprise, that you might not be aware of unless you start tracking this stuff.
Well, this sounds really exciting. This app. How far has it got? Because it's a great idea. Building it is a huge challenge, isn't it?
It's a huge challenge. I mean, it's a relatively simple feature set that I want to do in the first instance, but I've found there's a few challenges in this space. Firstly, most apps that are developed are out there for Parkinson's today, and there aren't that many in the scheme of things. If you look at like conditions like MS or diabetes, they're served a lot better than Parkinson's. But the Parkinson's ones seem to be developed from the clinical perspective, by the clinician for the clinician, and that's great for them in terms of providing insights to them. But you know, the rest of the time when I have to take care of myself and that whole self-care thing, I would like some actionable insights that I can use. And I wanted to develop something that's based from the patient's perspective. And I found a few challenges in the app developers world. Most sort of either come from the fitness or health space, or they come from the research and clinical space. You know, whereas I want somebody that has an eye on both. So that's a challenge. And I've started doing some of this stuff myself with some of these low code or no coding services, and using AI to sort of build the app, which is quite exciting. It's taken me a long time to do, but I'm confident I'll get what I want at the end of it. The other aspect is the regulation around this side. There's a point that you reach when the features that you offer start to then become considered to be a medical device, although it's not a device itself. We're just using software and data here. But if you start to give advice, let's say on some individual's condition, then it's considered to be a medical device. And I don't want to do that. I want this to be a well-being thing and an informed piece that people can use the insights to then make further judgments. So there's definitely some challenges, but I'm confident. You know, there's a requirement there. There's the market, as it were, the Parkinson's community, I think is crying out for this sort of service.
Can I say here? Because I want this app. I've been having a look around, and you're right, there's plenty for doctors, but you have to be signed up with that doctor running a trial to get access to it. So I would certainly be a customer. How soon? Any idea?
Well, I've got some sort of prototypes out now, and I've got some initial sort of user feedback, and I'm shaping that. I'm hoping before the end of the year I'll have the phase 1 out, which will do things like medication tracking, medication notifications, symptom tracking, and some self-help content. And I'll split it into 3 phases. But phase 1, I'm confident I'll have out before the end of the year.
Great. And just to remind people where they can catch up with you, you're More Than a Tremor on Twitter, is it?
Yeah, More Than a Tremor on Twitter and all the other socials. Yeah, you can find out more about me and my life with Parkinson's there.
Well, it's been great talking to you. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Rory. Thanks.